Good afternoon, jurors, guests, friends, family, all who are able to make it this afternoon. Thank you for being here, and thank you for allowing us the opportunity to present our final project. In the late 18th century, Petrus de Bonne, better known as Peter de Bonne, erected a one-room Dutch colonial house in what is now today 324 Main Street, Emerson, New Jersey, a bedroom community, a suburb of Manhattan, New York, where the average median household value is $426,000. Over the next 3.5 centuries, through luck and good stewardship, the de Bonne house grew and his legacy remained intact. Our team saw the challenge of the 1.5-acre site and the location in Emerson, New Jersey as an opportunity to create not only an affordable housing development for disabled and homeless veterans, but to create a community that is sustainable fiscally, environmentally, civically, and socially. Throughout our presentation, in the lower left-hand corner, you will notice an icon which symbolizes which of the 4 previously mentioned dimensions of sustainability we are referring to. Red symbolizes fiscal, blue, civic, orange, social, and green, environmental. So please sit back and relax as we walk you through de Bonne Grove, a place to grow. We seek to create a site that pays homage to the rich legacy of Petrus de Bonne, better known as Peter de Bonne, by creating a theme that reflects the manifestation, the resiliency, and the progression of time. We seek to do this by adding a 21st century to the Peter de Bonne house, which will serve as a gym and physical therapy training center. The landscaping will move from a more manicured to a more natural organic forest. Permeable pavers will be placed throughout the site to assist with on-site stormwater management. 4 buildings of 6 units each at 650 square feet will be erected. We wanted to continue on playing with the progression of time by creating an area that caters to the daytime view and the nighttime view. Our daytime view is created through the creation of the South Garden area. As you walk through the circulation core to the north patio, you'll notice an area that seeks to capture the nighttime moonlight, bring residents, family, friends, and visitors together for barbecues, just get together and relax, outside chess games, 4th of July celebrations, whatever you can imagine will occur in the north patio area. With our backs faced towards the Peter de Bonne house, heading westward through the circulation core, throughout our site, you'll notice where residents and visitors will be able to navigate to and from their units. As you continue to walk westward throughout our site, to the back of the property line on the left-hand side, you'll notice a greenhouse that will allow for residents to have therapeutic relief while exercising their green thumb. De Bonne Grove will be a place to grow. I'm now going to turn it over to my team member, Brad Hosfeld, to be able to walk you through our site.
All right, I'm going to start on the west end of the site and move eastward. As you saw in the animation, we have a greenhouse, which we envision being a very calm and relaxing place for our residents to experiment with different gardening techniques. Directly north of that, we have a composting pile. This will be a sustainable solution for the residents to manage some of their waste that they produce. As you can see, there's 4 residential buildings, each housing 6 units. Each unit is 650 square feet, and all of the units are 1-bedroom units as required by the regulations. Between the 2 sets of buildings is our main circulation core. This is how the residents and the visitors will access their individual units, and this can act as a service road for the complex. As Donald spoke about, number 4 is the north patio, the kind of active nighttime space. And 6 is the south garden area, the kind of daytime gardening space. And the layout of the units is meant to create a type of enclosure to create different levels of privacy, from the public circulation core to the semi-public south garden and north patio to the semi-private individual unit patios to the private units themselves. As we continue eastward, number 7 is our parking area. There's 25 parking spots located on our design, and these will be used for the residents themselves as well as visitor parking for the de Bonne house. Moving south, east, number 8 is our bicycle parking. This was mainly envisioned to be used for kind of more visitor purposes, and we envisioned that the residents themselves would park bikes within their units. Number 9 is our waste management strategy for any waste that can't be used in the composting piles. 10 is the proposed addition to play on the theme of transformation or progression of time. And 11 is our proposed renovation of the Bonne House living room. If we move down to our site section here, we're proposing a stormwater management strategy that by grading the site will funnel the stormwater towards our garden and grove areas, and it will keep stormwater on our site and off of the existing surroundings. And we are also proposing utilizing permeable pavers to help return our site to a more natural condition.
The total development cost for Bonne Grove will be approximately $5.7 million, which includes the renovation to the current existing structure of the Bonne House, the addition, and the residential units. And the approximate per unit cost for the residential unit solely is approximately $213,000. The greenhouse will be a donation courtesy of Home Depot.
In order to serve the most vulnerable of the veteran homeless population, Bonne Grove will be a home to VA-eligible veterans who fall under the HUD chronic definition of homelessness. And we propose that the development be a Veteran Affairs Sustainable Housing Development Project. This will allow us to maximize existing resources within the VA and to provide supportive services within our site, directly on site. In addition, Bonne Grove will once again be the home to American Legion Post 269. Our veterans within the New York, New Jersey area that are homeless will be able to provide stable housing as well as direct services on site because we are a VASH project. This will allow us to serve 24 of the most vulnerable veteran populations, the over 500 self-reported veterans in the New York, New Jersey area. As my colleagues have mentioned multiple times, we want Bonne Grove to be the place where our nation's heroes can continue to grow.
So the existing Bonne House is of the Dutch colonial style. This style is mainly defined by its roof line. So in our renovations, we wanted to expose the wooden roof beams on both the first floor community living room area and the second floor open office proposal. Another restoration effect we wanted to have was to restore the existing fireplace. We also wanted to open up the views westward of the Emerson Woods complex to let more light and air into the space and provide better exterior views. If we move up to the second story, we propose turning this into an open office complex where different services for the complex will be housed. Chanel will talk about this more a little later on, but we envision this being a place of interaction between the workers there. Also, as we mentioned, we're planning on adding on a gym/physical therapy edition. This is our 21st edition to, again, promote that transformation of time on our site.
The development cost for the restoration of the Bonne House and the addition will ring in at approximately $560,000, and that's reflective of $100.46 per square foot for the restoration of the current existing structure and $147.78 per square foot for the addition.
The Bonne House is going to be the hub of our site. All staffing, services, and community recreation will be headquartered within the Bonne House. So we propose, when you walk in through the downstairs area, we have the community living room. This area will be able to be partially closed off to hold private meetings, such as Monday night NA meetings, Tuesday AA meetings, Wednesday night rotational recreation or group therapy sessions. In addition, this area will be the area for the American Legion to hold their meetings on the third Thursday of every month. Our residents will also have a sponsored membership to the American Legion. This will serve the multiple purpose of, one, rebuilding Post 269's membership. It will allow us to connect our residents to fellow vets and to community members at large. So on the first floor, we will also have private meeting areas for the social workers to meet with their with our residents, as well as having the gym on the first floor that can double as a physical therapy area to work with their therapists or even to do their therapy homework. And we suggest that we open this area up to the community as well for a small fee. Now as we move upstairs to the open office area, this is where we'll have all of our staffing housed. We will have 2 on-site VA social workers as a VASH project. We also would have an additional staff member, a program coordinator, per HUD VASH project-based best practices. This person's job would be to coordinate and work with the social workers to connect our residents to each other as well as to the community at large and connect them to resources within the community and help them to reintegrate back into society. The staff member will also work with, manage a Master's of Social Work internship on site. The upstairs will also have the property managers area, an space for the American Legion, as well as the management, not property management, maintenance managers when they come on site. Now, if you look at this top icon up here, this represents the 7 dimensions of wellness. We have intellectual, environmental, physical, social, spiritual, emotional, as well as occupational and financial. We have staffed the Bonne House with professional staff to not only meet these 7 dimensions of wellness within our residents, but to exceed and help them to develop these 7 dimensions of wellness so they can once again be whole within themselves and whole within the community. Now, if we move over here, this is our solution to the transportation challenge that our site presented. We are proposing that we connect our site north and south transportation rails, as well as east and west. We suggest that you partner with the New Jersey Transit Authority, with Bergen County Community Transit, Easy Ride, which is a nonprofit transportation organization in the area, as well as Zipcar. We propose that the furthest east station be Station Plaza. This will provide our residents and the community with a express access to New York. We come all the way westward to Hohokus, and we have Bergen Community College, which is the closest institute of higher education, but there's no direct route to Bergen Community College. You would have to take Emerson Light Rail all the way down to Hackensack and then back up. So in doing this, we want to connect our residents to the neighboring areas and allow them freedom of motion as well. As I said, we're going to partner with multiple agencies in order to achieve this. And Zipcar, we propose it to be at the yellow circle at the ShopRite, and it will give our residents more freedom of travel for those who are eligible for a subsidized fee. So not only have we strived to make our site fiscally sustainable and integrate our services within the community, we're going to move on to show you how we've continued this prioritization of sustainable living and community integration into our site's plan. And I'll turn it over to Brad to talk about that.
So obviously, sustainability is a big concept in our design. In each of the individual units, we are planning on incorporating low-flow, dual-flush toilets, Energy Star appliances, Allure Energy Sense thermostats, which basically monitor the energy use in each unit. We're also planning on using a lot of natural daylight. So in the summertime, we're planning on blocking the high-angle summer sun with the use of overhang and balcony placements. And in the wintertime, in order to reduce heating costs, we want to use a lot of natural daylight. So we utilize light wells to let light deeper into our space, and we're utilizing a lot of south-facing windows to also make the space feel more open and airy. We performed ecotech analysis of the lighting, which is in the top left, the heating and cooling requirements, and also the sun angles for our complex. Also, all of our lower level units are ADA accessible. This is 50% of the whole site, which is well above the 5% minimum of ADA. As I spoke about before a little bit, the units are laid out to provide a focus on the south garden and north patio areas to create interaction between the residents. And this also creates the different levels of privacy that I spoke about.
So to account for the sustainability and ADA features of the site, we started off by calculating the per square footage cost at approximately $172.40, and we added a sustainable feature and ADA feature bonus. The sustainable feature was by times that $172.40 by 5%, and the ADA feature bonus by 2% through our research, so that brought us to $184.47 per square foot for the development of the residential units. Next slide. So in the upper left-hand corner, the donut chart reflects our sources of funding for the residential units. 67% of it we're calculating to be covered by the low-income housing tax credit program, and 33% of it by the New Jersey Affordable Housing Trust Fund Balanced Housing Program grant. That's a mouthful. Through our research, what we realized was that most affordable housing projects are not successful or not feasible due to the fact that they carry debt into their operating years, but it is possible to develop an affordable housing project with little to no debt, rare but possible, and we do believe that this is feasible considering the size and the location. The middle donut shows the sources of funding for the Bonne house restoration, which 36% of it will be covered through the HUD Supportive Housing Program, 19% the Federal Historic Tax Credit Program, 17% through banks who are known to donate to veteran causes to end homelessness for veterans, 16% state historic tax credit, 9% the capital preservation grant, which is a private grant, and 3% of it the 772 Foundation, which are in New Jersey, or the Emerson, New Jersey area. And the last donut chart reflects the aggregation of the two previous donut charts that I referred to. If you look in the lower left-hand corner, these are the exact amounts of the per square footage costs for the residential unit, the restoration, the addition to the Bonne house, and the per unit costs for development for the residential unit. In the lower right-hand corner, we have our operating budget. The red line represents our gross effective rent before accounting for expenses. The green bars represent our expenses, and the orange bars are net operating income. We calculated a 1.02% income escalator to account for the increase in income over time, and a 1.03% income escalator for expenses. Expenses will always exceed income. Some notable line items we have for our expenses is a programming budget, which is a percentage of the gross effective rent, and also reserves, which will carry over and grow considering there's no need to dip into the project. So outside of talking about finances and the planning of the site, something that we thought would actually be an issue is building an affordable housing project in Emerson, New Jersey. We anticipate there to be pushback in the form of not in my backyard. So we wanted to be proactive, and we created a public engagement strategy which focuses on six steps: inform, engage, incorporate, build, celebrate, and honor. To inform, we will meet with the Congress member of the area, the 2 state assembly members, the state senator, the planning commission, and the county executive to address any of the concerns they may have, to lay any of their concerns, to solicit feedback, and give them the carte blanche that most elected officials demand and deserve. Now I'm going to turn it over to Chanel and Brad to finish it up.
Next, we have engage. We're going to engage the community by holding town hall meetings. We'll have these meetings, the schedule posted online on our website, as well as in public areas. We will engage them during these town hall meetings to solicit feedback, solicit support for our site, and for them to ask us the questions and ask us what we are doing with this site, and most importantly, to debunk myths about affordable housing, because we want them to understand that affordable housing does not increase crime in your area. It doesn't devalue your property. It's a way for people who are working class people to own their own homes and have a sustainable and stable housing.
After engage, we plan to incorporate the public in our design process. We'll have design charrettes that we will engage the public and maybe different public officials in to get their regional input and their input from the surrounding community. After that, in the building process, we'll have a groundbreaking ceremony where we'll invite the members of the surrounding community as well as public officials. And we also plan on having a live online tracker to track the construction process.
Next, we're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate the legacy of Peter Bonne by restoring the Bonne house. And most importantly, we want to honor our vets. We want to honor our veterans that are residents. We want to honor the vets within our community, and we want to honor the veterans of the American Legion. And with that, I will turn over to Donald to close for us.
So we want to build a site that is fiscally, environmentally, civically, and socially sustainable, that continues the rich legacy of Peter de Bonne and progresses over time, that celebrates us being able to rezone this site from an R7.5 to a municipal-sponsored affordable housing overlay zone. We want to celebrate all the things that have been done, that will be done, and the rich legacy that will be created by the Bonne Grove, a place to grow. Thank you. Next slide.
Thank you very much. Jurors, would someone like to lead off questions? I know I have one, but please go ahead.
Great, thank you very much. I want to go back to the site map. So, two questions. So the buildings surrounding your site, are those existing residential dwellings?
Yes,
Yes, they are.
Okay. I'm sorry?
I said the whiter ones are existing.
Okay, great. And then could you just, again, repeat the size of the units?
Each unit is 650 square feet, approximately.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I actually would love to look at the building plan. I have two questions, and I'll tell you what they both are, but if we could look at the building layout. So, Brad, my question for you, I want to understand your unit design a little bit. I see your this kind of beautiful light wall. I'm interested how sort of the kitchen lays out and sort of what you're thinking about not seizing that. Are you occupying that space? What happens in that well-lit space? I also have a question about what is the little room near the bathroom?
So I'll start with the last question. The little room is a laundry facility for the residents. And as far as the light well, it might be easier to see in this. So it's actually split in half, so half of it will come down to the lower unit, and then half of it will go to the upper unit. We thought this might add slightly to the construction cost, but it would also make the units a lot more airy and provide a lot more light and a better quality of life for the residents.
And Chanel, I have a question for you about your attitude around how to best engage people in some of these residential social service activities. Thinking about these open offices upstairs, just curious about, I guess, their location being on the second floor. Do you find that to be a benefit or a drawback? And then the idea of sort of privacy and some other aspects in terms of doing really, good nitty-gritty engagement with your residents.
So upstairs, the open office plan, we see it as a plus. It acts as a way for all of our staff members to constantly engage with each other, and so that there's no silos. Like the social workers aren't just going to work by themselves and separate out each other, and the project manager won't, and the property manager won't. They'll all work together. The drawback is that it's upstairs, so it's not ADA, and our residents, if they have a physical disability, can't make it up to those offices. But to compensate for that, we do have private meeting areas downstairs of the Bonne house that are closed, like they're closed private meeting areas where the social workers can meet one-on-one. They can also be used as a group meeting area on the first floor of the Bonne. And you asked about engaging and doing the hard, nitty work. Can you just ask what I'm not sure exactly.
Well, I think you may have answered that you've created some private spaces downstairs.
Yes.
So I think that was my concern is how are people going to get there? And then once they're there, will they be able to have the time and space to have a private conversation?
Yes, and the downstairs rooms will be used for those meetings, but also then our residents can go and have a quiet room to go to if they want to talk about something, or they're doing, I don't know, I want to say an art class, or doing a book class, or they want to play chess in a room without everyone else around. So that's that was our vision behind that.
Great, thank you.
Thanks so much for the presentation. Can you talk a little bit more about your decisions on the financing and specifically how you weighed whether or not to pursue private debt as one of your sources on the development side?
Absolutely. So one of the things that we looked into is we researched why do affordable housing projects fail or succeed, and we noticed that a lot of affordable housing projects don't make it out maybe after the first 3 or 5 years due to the fact of the amount of debt equity they take on, and you're not bringing in much revenue, you're putting out more in expenses. And so since this is a small development in a very affluent neighborhood where there's a high need for veteran housing, we thought that we were confident that we would be able to actually secure grant equity and not debt equity to be able to build the project. So it was to ensure that the project was actually sustainable and that we would be able to cover all our cost.
Just to follow that up, did you assume a 9% tax credit execution, and did you look into the risk of how this would score and how it would compete against other 9% projects?
Yes, we did. We looked at a 9% tax credit for 10 years, and it's 100% of the project will be affordable. So the whole project would be eligible for a LIHTC, and we assumed that we would receive 75 cents on the dollar because there is money lost through the syndication process. And so we were very conservative in our estimation of receiving tax credit. We looked at the qualifying action plan for New Jersey as well too, under the 4 possible categories or sections that you can apply for, and forget which one this would fall under, but we qualify above and beyond that, as well as we even calculated how much of a loan we would be able to afford at a 7% interest rate for 30 years if need be.
It was a very good presentation, and really appreciate how you and all the other teams can go back and forth between physical planning and social issues and financial issues. Kind of get whiplash here, but it's just really impressive. I have a physical planning question. One of the challenges of housing is to make connections to the public way and also to provide a sense of privacy. And I have a question about the south garden and the north patios. Do you see those, like the central spine, as being more or less public spaces, or do you see them being more like backyards for the apartments that face onto them, or somewhere in between? What's your vision of those two spaces?
They're kind of like a semi-public, semi-private type space. So we wanted to obviously encourage interaction between the different residents to create a better sense of community between those residents. But it's not technically a public space, so it's almost like a shared backyard, so that these residents can all go out and kind of meet and talk and have fun together.
So do you see people on one side visiting the patio on the opposite side, or it's more or less the people who live on that side, or do you think it's open-ended enough that people can make their own decisions? I mean, What are the physical cues that you're giving people?
We almost tried to separate it more by usage, not by which side it's on. So as we kind of talked about a little bit, the south side kind of taking cues from the site, it's more used for daytime. Like there's gardening areas in there, so it's more of a relaxing kind of calm place. Where on the north side, they could go up there to, meet for different events, or more of like a nighttime, more active type of space where you could have barbecues or, football tailgates or whatever you wanted to do. We separated it a little more by usage.
And also, due to the angle of the sun facing the south side, we wanted to ensure that plants would be able to grow, because we were going to make the areas duplicative of each other, but figured that the plants may not actually survive on the north side. So instead, let's create a site which can be used during the nighttime and is more relaxing. So it moves from a more, which Brad mentioned earlier, a more semi-private to private area with the balcony space into a completely private realm with the units themselves.
Thanks.
Do you have another question? Okay, we have 45 seconds. So I guess I want to just have a couple words around innovation. Just tell me quickly, what are you most excited about, all three of you? Rapid fire.
The services.
The overall integration of sustainability in every sense of the word.
The use of kind of different ways of light wells and different lighting aspects.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.